Hi Verbling, my name is Michaela. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona, and today we're talking about gerunds and infinitives. If you guys have questions on this class or would like to suggest material for future classes, friend me on Facebook. You can contact me there anytime just to say hi or to give me ideas or reviews. I'll put the notes in the chat box for you. And we'll get started. This is a class that everyone always wants more time with because it's such a complicated matter, gerunds versus infinitives, and there are no simple rules to remember. So I'll also screen share the notes for you guys in just a second. If anyone out there is interested in private tutor sessions, I still have more hours open this week and also next week. You can check out my profile on Verbling. Jorge, welcome to class.
Hello, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing really well. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Excellent. So today we're talking about gerunds and infinitives. Can you give us a little bit about what you know about gerunds and infinitives?
Those are two different forms of a verb. Gerunds, it's when the verb is showing an action. It's being uh, doing in this moment. For example, to use with the present continuous. And I don't know what to say.
Yeah, so you're right that those are the two different forms of verbs. And in this class, we're going to focus how those very different forms sometimes get confused very easily. Do you have the notes open?
Yes.
Excellent. Then I'm going to screen share and we'll get in and talk a little bit more about that topic. If I can make some screen share work. Okay, so gerunds are INGs, two infinitives have two, and it's the unconjugated form of the verb. Let's read a little bit more about that. I'm going to highlight a section, and Jorge, can you read it for us?
Yes. Gerunds and infinitives are forms of verbs that act like nouns. They can follow adjectives and other verbs. Gerunds can also follow prepositions. A gerund, often known as a ing word, is a noun formed from a verb by adding ing. Not all words formed with ing are gerunds. An infinitive is to plus the verb. When a verb follows a verb, it either takes the gerund or infinitive form. Some verbs can take either the gerund or the infinitive with no loss of meaning.
Awesome. So that's what we're going to be focusing on today. We're going to be focusing on when verbs follow other verbs, because that's when things get a little bit tricky.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, continue reading and we'll go through a couple of these examples here.
For example, with the verb start, it started to rain or it started raining. Both sentences have the same meaning. Sometimes the use of the gerund or infinitive change the meaning of the sentence. For example, with the verb remember, I remembered to do my homework, or I remembered doing my homework.
Okay. Questions so far on what we've been reading?
No, any questions so far?
Okay. We're going to be focusing mostly today on the verbs that change in meaning and the verbs that we can only use one or the other. And we just have a little bit more to go on this first notes part of class. So go ahead and finish up this page of notes before we get into some practice.
Okay. In the first sentence, I remembered to do my homework. The person speaking remembered they had some homework first and then carried out the action and did it. In the second sentence, I remembered doing my homework. The person speaking carried out the action, their homework, first and then remembered doing it. Other verbs only take one or the other. Unfortunately, there is no rule as to which form the verb takes. The same is true when the verb follows an adjective. The best way to learn their correct use is with practice.
Okay. So the first thing we're going to be practicing are verbs that are followed by the gerund form. And so we have this big long list of common verbs that are followed by the gerund form only. So we're going to look at 4 categories of verbs today, but the first one is verbs followed by gerunds. So let's read through them. I'm going to read through the list quickly, and then we'll go over any vocabulary questions you have before we get into sentences themselves. We have acknowledge, admit, adore, anticipate, appreciate, avoid, celebrate, confess, contemplate, delay, deny, describe, detest, discuss, dislike, dread, endure, enjoy, fancy, finish, imagine, involve, keep, justify, mention, mind, miss, omit, postpone, practice, quit, recall, recommend, regret, report, resent, resume, risk, suggest, tolerate, understand. Whew, that was a long list. Okay. So, any vocabulary questions from that list?
I don't know. Nah, maybe no. The first
Nothing?
one maybe acknowledge. I
Okay.
don't know.
Acknowledge is a synonym to recognize.
Okay.
All right. No other questions? I'm going to give you some tricky ones.
I don't know. Maybe no. Yeah. Tell me.
Okay, for now, not. For now. So, I'm going to ask you to write a sentence then with the verb endure. Meaning, what you're going to do is you're going to write a sentence in the chat box using the verb endure followed by another verb.
Okay.
All right, go ahead and try it. I'll give you a couple minutes to be creative, and then we'll go over the sentences. Oh, you're quick. Okay. I cannot endure doing this task more time. Yes. Okay, great sentence. Um, and I would say that your sentence is good, but it might sound a little more natural if you include the word any before more. So that would be any more time.
Okay.
There's nothing particularly wrong with the way you wrote it. It just sounds a little more natural if you say any more. Okay, we'll do one more verb in this section before we go on to the next set. And the next one will be dread, right next to endure, the word dread. Okay, I dread eating mushrooms. Do you really? Because I also hate mushrooms.
No, I like them. I
Oh, what
love
a lie.
eating mushrooms. Even I go to the forest to recollect them.
Oh my gosh. I wish I liked mushrooms. I have tried them many times, hoping that maybe my tastes would change or I would get used to them. But I just think they're gross. Their texture is like rubbery
Uh,
and
you need to know how to prepare in cooking, how cooking them. But it then tastes very good for me. I like it.
All right, I guess to each his own, right? Okay. So for now, we're going to go on to the next set of verbs, which are verbs normally followed by infinitive forms. And I'm going to read this. We'll talk about vocabulary questions and write a couple sentences here as well. First up, we have afford, agree, appear, arrange, ask, attempt, care, choose, claim, come, consent, dare, decide, demand, deserve, determine, elect, endeavor, expect, fail, get, guarantee, hate, help, hesitate, hope, hurry, incline, intend, learn, long, manage, mean, need, offer, plan, prepare, pretend, promise, refuse, resolve, say, seem, tend, threaten, want, wish. All right, any questions on that set?
Uh, the verb long. What is the meaning of
Which
long?
verb?
Like a verb.
Which verb are you asking about? Starts with an N?
Long.
Ah, long.
Long.
Mm. Long is when you really want something and you just think about it a lot. Something that you miss, probably. So it would be another way of saying, like, I long to be with my family who are so far away right now, saying, like, I really miss them, some kind of deep soul sort of feeling of wanting to be with another person or a thing.
Okay.
All right. Anything else? No other questions on this set?
Mm, no.
All right. Then we'll make a couple sentences. And why don't you start with the verb long? Try it out for yourself and follow it by another verb. I long to come back to the beach. Excellent. Very nice. Do you actually miss the beach or is that a fake creative sentence?
No, I like the beach. I have the beach close to here, but Yeah, I like to go to the beach.
Awesome. All right, we'll do one more sentence with this set using the verb. How about the verb dare on the left over here? The verb dare. I don't dare to go on a motorcycle. Okay, missing an article, but other than that, it's perfect. All right, so
Okay.
simple enough.
Yeah.
The next two are a little bit different. So those last two categories of verbs are verbs that are followed by one or the other. Now we're going to talk about some that can be followed by both. So the next set is verbs that can be followed by a gerund or an infinitive with no change in meaning. So that would be begin, continue, hate, like, love, neglect, prefer, start, and try. Now the nice thing about these is they're very common. These are some of our most common verbs, and you can use both with no really big difference. Any questions on these?
Yes, I don't know what is the meaning about neglect or neglect.
Yeah, neglect. Neglect is when you don't take care of something. Usually, you could use this word when you have a responsibility to care for a pet or a child or another person and you don't do it. So that would be neglect. You might also use it for a garden or something. If I neglect my garden, it means I let all my plants go without water and maybe they die.
Okay.
All right. Write two sentences with neglect, one using a to infinitive and the other using a gerund, and then we'll move on to the next set. Okay, I neglected doing the dishes yesterday. Good start. Yes. I neglect doing dishes every day. I hate doing dishes. All right, one more sentence with neglect. Okay, I neglect to clean my bedroom. Perfect. No change in meaning when we use the to infinitive or the gerund, and those are great sentences. So we're going to go on to the most difficult category, or most students find it to be the most difficult. This one is where we have a change in meaning. Now this category is small, but it can be really confusing to some students. So we have the verb forget, remember, and stop. Now we saw an example of this at the top. So the verb remember. I remembered to do my homework. I remembered doing my homework. So that was one example of these verbs. And then another one is here. I forgot to feed the cat. That means the cat is hungry and has not been fed. And I forgot feeding the cat means the cat is okay. I fed him and then I forgot about doing it. So I forgot that I fed him, but I did feed him. Any questions on this before we make some sentences with them?
No, it's a little confusing, but nice. This is good. Okay, let's go.
Let's start with forget. We're going to make some sentences for each of these, but we'll start with forget. Make two sentences that are the same, but one using a to infinitive and the other using an ing, a gerund.
Okay, I will try.
Go ahead. Hey there, Aka. How are you?
Yes, I'm fine. How are you?
Good. Doing well. We're just making some sentences with this last category of verbs. Verbs that change in meaning when they're followed by a to infinitive or an ing. And Jorge is halfway through his two sentences. Excellent. So now we have two sentences from Jorge. Aka, can you make two sentences for us as well using the verb forget? Make the sentences the same, but use one with the to infinitive and one with the ing, and then we're going to explain the difference between them. Okay?
Okay.
All right. While he's writing, we can go over Jorge's sentences. So we have, I forgot to throw away the rubbish yesterday, and I forgot eating when I am younger. So first small error in the second sentence. Since it was a long time ago, when you were a kid or when you were younger, you probably won't use the present tense. You'll probably say when I was younger. So I forgot eating when I was younger.
Okay, yeah.
But to make things a little more simple for this first sentence, we're going to compare your first sentence to the same version of that sentence with a different verb. So, what is the difference between I forgot to throw away the rubbish yesterday and I forgot throwing away the rubbish yesterday? Jorge, can you explain the difference to me there?
Yes, I forgot to throw away the rubbish yesterday is that you didn't do this act yesterday. The rubbish is still at home. And I forgot throwing away the rubbish yesterday is you cannot remember how you did it But the rabbit isn't still at home. Yeah, the rabbit is outside.
Got it. Right. So the rubbish is gone, but you forgot that you did it. Okay, great. And Aka's sentence, I forgot to attend a class. I forgot attending a class. Aka, explain the difference between those sentences.
Yes. First one, I attend a class. I didn't attend the class. The second one, I attended the class, but I forgot the fact of attending class.
Yes, exactly. Excellent. I think you guys got it. We're going to move on to remember. So, same exercise. Each of you are going to make one sentence that's the same in both, but you're going to use a to infinitive in one and a gerund in another. And put them in the chat box when you're ready. Okay, so Aka, you gave us some more sentences using forget. He forgot to introduce himself. He forgot introducing himself. Right?
Yes.
All right. So awesome. That works really well. What if you changed those sentences and used the verb remember instead? How would that change the meaning of the sentences?
Okay.
Okay. So we have our first set for remember. I remember to go home to have lunch. And I remembered going to home to have lunch. Okay. So, good sentence, but it's a little bit strange because we have an object before the other verb. So, let's take out the object. How about I remembered to have lunch versus I remembered having lunch? Can you compare those two sentences, Jorge?
Okay, I remember to have lunch. It's you had hungry, and then to remember to go to the kitchen to eat something. No? I remember having lunch. Is you can remember you sitting on the table eating.
Yeah, exactly. So if you say, I remembered to have lunch, it just means that you did it. But if you say, I remembered having lunch, it means you're talking about the time when you were doing the remembering, not about the time that you ate, but about the time you were remembering eating. So it's a little bit different. This one's more subtle than the last one, forget, but it's also important. And Abdullah, welcome to class. Abdullah, are you there? All right, we can't hear you, Abdullah. Let us know in the chat box if you can hear us. And we have more sentences. He remembers to sing happy birthday on the birthday. He remembered singing happy birthday on the birthday. Okay, so I guess these are probably supposed to be past tense, right?
Okay.
He remembered to sing happy birthday and he remembered singing happy birthday. Can you quickly describe the difference between those two sentences? Ah, okay. We hear you,
Okay.
Abdullah. Welcome to class.
Hi.
Hi there. We're finishing up something very quickly, and then I will have the other students tell you a little bit about what we're talking about today. Sorry, Akka, continue.
Okay. First sentence, he remembered singing happy birthday on the birthday. And second sentence, he remembered the fact of singing happy birthday on the birthday.
Yeah, exactly. So the first one is about remembering, and the second one is about the action that he did.
Yes.
Okay. We've got one more verb to go through, and that's stop. Same thing, you guys are going to write two very similar sentences. Try to make them pretty simple, make it easy on yourselves to explain. And we'll talk a little bit about the differences between the verb stop with two infinitives and the gerund before we go on. Awesome. First set, he stopped to smoke cigarettes and he stopped smoking cigarettes. So he smoked it again. Okay. Ken, explain us those sentences.
First sentence, he quitted the smoking cigarette, stopped. And second, how can I say? How can I say? He stopped quitting cigarettes. So he started to smoke again.
Mwah, ha, 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 ha.
Make sense?
I've tricked you. No.
No? Oh my gosh.
So, hold on. Jorge, try to give us an explanation for your sentences, and then we'll talk a little bit more about this verb.
Okay. I stopped to drive my car and I stopped driving my car. In the first sentence, I'm doing something else and I stopped to do it in order to drive my car. And the second sentence, I'm driving, but I'm going to stop.
Okay. Yes, that is closer to the very tricky meaning of this stopping versus stopped thing. So, in the sentences that Ken gave us, Ken, would you like to try again and explain that sentence or those sentences in a different way?
In a different first sentence, he stopped to smoke cigarettes. He quit smoking cigarette.
No, see, that's the thing that you
No.
said last time. But it's the opposite of what you said. So basically, in the second
Ah,
sentence, you said
okay.
smoke again, but just switch the definitions and explain that sentence set for us again.
That means first sentence means he stopped quitting cigarette. So he smoked it again. Hello?
Sorry, I was talking
Okay.
while I was muted.
Mhm.
The first sentence means that he was doing something else, like maybe exercising or eating breakfast, and then he stopped
Oh,
doing that and decided to smoke cigarettes. And then
I
in the
see.
second sentence,
Mhm.
it's kind of the opposite, meaning that he decided never to smoke cigarettes again. He stopped smoking cigarettes means that he used to do the
Ah,
action
okay.
of smoking, but now he has stopped. He doesn't do that anymore.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All
Yeah,
right.
I got it. Yes.
Awesome. Now we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to add in negatives, which doesn't seem like it's a big deal, but especially with these very subtle differences in meaning, it can make a big difference. So now I'm going to ask Ken to write a sentence using the verb forget, but use the negative. So say like, he didn't forget or she didn't forget. And you're going to make two sentences like we've been doing with the to infinitive and the gerund, but this time it's going to be in the negative. And Jorge, you have the same exercise but with the verb remember. So this time you're going to use remember, but you're going to use a negative like they didn't remember or we didn't remember. Okay. So we have our first set of sentences. They didn't remember to call me for my birthday. They didn't remember playing together when they were children. Okay, both good sentences. I'm going to pick one and then double it so that we have a simpler idea here. So I'll take the first one. They didn't remember to call me for my birthday. They didn't remember calling me for my birthday. So I'll write that in the chat box. And then this one time, you guys are going to switch. So I'm going to have Ken explain Jorge's sentences and Jorge explain Ken's sentences. Okay, so now both sentences are in there. Ken, would you mind explaining the difference between they didn't remember to call me for my birthday and they didn't remember calling me for my birthday?
They didn't remember to call me for my birthday. Uh, uh, they didn't call on the birthday. That's first sentence.
Mm-hmm.
And second sentence, they called, but they forgot the action they called.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Awesome job. Thanks, Ken. And now, Jorge, it's your turn. You're going to describe the difference between Aka's sentences. He didn't forget to return the DVD, and he didn't forget returning the DVD.
The first one, he didn't forget to return the DVD. It means that they returned the DVD on date.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't forget returning the DVD. It is that they remember how they returned the DVD.
Yeah. So that second sentence, both of them mean a very similar thing. The difference is very subtle. But you did a pretty good job of explaining because the second sentence focuses more on the fact that they didn't forget. So maybe it would imply that like it was a very memorable event. Maybe I went to return the DVD and I met a person that I hadn't seen in a long time, and it was a very important day. So I could say that it was so important that I didn't forget returning that DVD. It was a really important day. But other than that, they're the same. So both sentences we remembered to return the DVD, but the meaning just shifts a little bit. All right. Then we just have one more, and we're going to do the same exercise. We're going to use stop with a negative and write two sentences that are the same. So the same sentence except that we have one with a to infinitive and one with a gerund. But this time we're going to do it with the negative. You guys are both going to write sentence sets and then explain each other's sentences. So Jorge will be describing Ken's and Ken's will be describing Jorge's. So this time you guys can try to make them complex and trick each other if you want. Okay, so we have one sentence set ready. He didn't stop to clean, and I had to wait for him. He didn't stop cleaning during the film. Okay, excellent. Now we have both. She didn't stop to go shopping. She didn't stop going shopping. So Ken, please explain Jorge's sentences. He didn't stop to clean, and he didn't stop cleaning.
For him, Mr. Queen. He first sentence he didn't didn't stop to clean. And second sentence he didn't stop cleaning during the film. I cannot distinguish. What is the difference?
Maybe the sentences are wrong.
No, I don't. Maybe I'm wrong. I couldn't catch that.
All right.
Maybe something
This
wrong
is
with me.
it's a really tough exercise because the difference is very, very subtle, and it's just a difficult, very small distinction to make. Let's have Jorge try and describe Ken's sentences, and then we'll go back to the first set.
It's difficult yet. She didn't stop to go shopping, and she didn't stop going shopping. She didn't stop to go shopping. That means that she actually currently go shopping maybe every day or twice a week, and she didn't stop going shopping. It is referring to a particular day. For example, yesterday she continued to go shopping even though it was raining.
Okay. So I think you have. No, I think you might have mixed up the differences here. I'm going to explain this sentence set, and then we'll go back to your sentences, Jorge. So, in the first of Ken's sentences, she didn't stop to go shopping. It means that maybe she was like preparing for a vacation or she was doing something else, and she decided not to stop doing that other thing in order to go shopping. So she didn't go shopping in the first one. And in the second one, she didn't stop going shopping means that she continuously was going again and again and again, and she didn't stop. So maybe she has like a problem. Maybe she spends too much money and she just can't stop. She's addicted. Is that what you were trying to describe?
No, I had problems with the first one, but yeah, now I understand the meaning. Yeah,
Awesome.
she was doing something else, and she didn't stop in order to go shopping.
Exactly.
Let shopping in a second plane or second situation.
Yep. Okay. So now let's go back to the earlier sentence set. He didn't stop to clean, and he didn't stop cleaning. Does anyone feel confident to explain that sentence set?
Yeah, I can explain, but maybe with a little of imagination. He didn't stop to clean, and I had to wait for him. For example, he had to do more things, and only he can go out after clean the room, and then he didn't stop to do other things to clean. Then we have to wait him to clean the room because it's the last thing that he had to do. And he didn't stop cleaning during the film is that during all the film he was cleaning every time, all the time.
Yeah, okay, yeah, great. So in the second one, he was continuously cleaning during the film, and the first one, we have the opposite, where he was doing something else and didn't want to stop doing the other thing in order to clean.
Yeah.
Okay, that's tough, and that's like one of the toughest things. This class kind of gets more and more difficult. The first few categories seem easy breezy, and then this one is like a brain exercise, right? It's really tough when we start to add in negatives. Okay, one more exercise. We've got one more exercise today. And this time, again, it's going to require your creativity with sentence writing. I want you guys to write 3 sentences. They can be really short sentences. They do not have to be complex. But I'd like you to include one sentence that is used incorrectly. So try to put a infinitive where it shouldn't be, or a gerund where it shouldn't be, and then the other person is going to correct the sentences. So you guys are going to write 3 really short sentences, something like this, where you just have a subject, a verb, followed by another verb, and maybe an object. And include at least 1 that's wrong. You can also do 2 that's wrong, or 3 that's wrong. You can do however you want, but you have to have at least 1 that's incorrect, and then you guys are going to switch sets and correct each other's. Do you guys have questions on that?
No.
Okay, go for it.
Oh, sorry, teacher, I have a question. We have to use the verbs forget, remember, stop, or
No,
the
you
other
can choose
verbs?
from any of the verbs we've talked about today.
Okay, perfect, okay.
The one sentence should be wrong sentence.
Yeah, at least one sentence should be
Okay.
incorrect.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, looks like we're ready. So, Jorge, will you go ahead and read Aka's sentences for us and make any necessary corrections to them?
Yeah, but I think he choose a tough verb because I think he likes swimming is correct.
Uh-huh.
I like to swim is correct as well. I like to swimming. No, I like to swimming is It's incorrect. As I like to swim. Yeah.
So you wouldn't make any
The last
corrections?
one.
Ah, the last
The
one.
last one is wrong, and the correct form would be I like to swim.
Yes, excellent. Thank you very much. And now, Ken, read Jorge's sentences and make any necessary corrections.
Okay. I enjoy to play football. I decide going to play football. He agree going shopping. Ooh. I don't enjoy to play football. I decide going agree to go. I think he agreed to go shopping, not going. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. So he agrees to go shopping. So we have to change that one to infinitive. And also we would have to put an S at the end, probably, or an ED, some kind of ending like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I forgot. It's third person. Yeah, agrees.
awesome. That one's corrected. What about the earlier two sentences? I enjoy to play football and I decided going to play football. How are we going to change either of those sentences to be a little more correct?
Uh, that means I decide to go to play football.
Uh-huh.
Decided to go.
Yep, I decided to go to play football. And what about the first one? I enjoy to
I
play
I
football.
I enjoy playing football.
Yeah, excellent. Awesome. Okay. So we've just run out of time, but you guys did an awesome job. And my next class is on, it's a Mad Lib game, so we have to fill in the blank with any crazy nouns or adjectives that you like. And I hope to see you guys again soon, if not in this next class, in the very soon future.
Thank you
Okay,
very
thank you,
much.
teacher. See
Thanks,
Bye.
guys.
you.
See ya.
Bye.